uh, it's not okay. Let's move on to the next kind of topic, which is basically here I would like to introduce about the RSRI, or the REST Society, and how we are trying to make a difference in the education scenario, or in fact the research scenario in India, and what we are trying to do and how we are trying to make a difference. So basically, if you look at the RSRI, as I already said, RSRI is the REST Society for Research International, and it was initially formed in 2009 as a interdisciplinary kind of professional society for various researchers. A lot of researchers came together, and the RSRI was established. So you can go to this particular website called the rsri.org.in to look into the other functionaries and the other works that the RSRI does. Now, what are the basic objectives of the RSRI? So the RSRI is involved in a lot of activities. Among them, the stated down policies or the stated down objectives are that it wants to promote interaction between scientists from who are into the both into the basic and the applied research. And next, what it wants to do is that it wants to, as a society, it wants to create some interest in terms of or it wants to motivate as a whole the society to carry out research, to carry out meaningful research. And one of the objectives for the RSRI is to support the R&D related innovations and activities in India. And at the same time, the RSRI intends to make some kind of knowledge banks in terms of publishing in journals, or in terms of publishing in books and all that, right? And there are several other events that the RSRI does. For example, it does a lot of conferences and all that. So because of this, what happens is that people from, or in fact researchers from different platforms can interact with each other. Now, the RSRI, or the REST Society for Research International, is unique in a lot of ways. And what are the unique initiatives that we at RSRI have taken? For example, as far as I know, apart from the Institute of Engineers, Kolkata, we are one of the very few organizations which gives research grants for UG and PG scholars. If you look at the research grant scenario in India, you find that a lot of research grants are there for PhD students, or for early career researchers, or for like faculties and all that. But research grants as such are not available for UG and PG scholars, or UG and PG students. Now it is very important to inculcate the idea of research into the UG and PG scholars also. And this is why the RSRI every year, what it does is that, in fact, every semester, what it does is that it gives out grants, though we have very limited funds and we give in a very limited way, but still we are trying to make whatever the change possible by giving grants to UG and PG scholars. So you can just go on to the website and look for the details there, and maybe you can motivate your UG or PG students to submit some research proposals there, and we will be happy to fund their work. RSRI is also running a very unique kind of program called the Research Internship Program. So the research program, the internship program, is very unique in the sense that, again, I will not beat around the bush. I will be very direct. I will be very frank. We know that I have done my PhD from an NIT. At the same time, I have seen a lot of my friends who have done their PhDs in the allied departments, in the management fields, or in the sciences and all that, from the state universities, or many of them I have seen doing their PhDs from the private universities. A most common problem with a lot of research scholars in India is that they do not get the proper guidance, right? They do not get proper guidance in terms of what they should get from their research guide. Uh, what I mean by guidance is that there are two types of guidance that a research supervisor is supposed to give you. The first one is regarding the research methodology, or the soft skills that are needed to survive in the, or that are needed in the research world. And the second one is the technical knowledge that is needed for your research problem. So the first one, what it includes like how to select a proper journal, and where to publish, where not to publish. For example, when the revision comes, how to address the cover letter, how to address the response to the reviewers. There are a lot of lot of important things that are there in the research, uh, in the research itself, right? Research, in my view, research, or doing research, or being a full-time researcher is a very difficult task, specifically because it involves a lot of things. It doesn't involve just doing some experiments in the laboratory, or doing some or collecting some data in terms of like social surveys, and then analyzing it and then writing a paper. It involves a lot of other tasks. What are the other tasks involved? It involves tasks like, how do I collect the data, right? These are all technical related question, or this comes under the this would be something that the technical part of the work, like how do I collect the data, or how do I do the experiment, and once I have the experiment, how do I present my data, or how do I once I collect the data, how do I analyze it, what kind of statistical test do I apply, and the conclusions that I derive from this particular uh, statistical approach or this particular data, is it meaningful, or can I conclude from this, can I conclude the from the data that this is this and all this. Okay, so when you for all this you need a lot of technical, for this all of this you need a lot of technical guidance, right? Because when we all of us started, we are like novice, we do not know that how to begin. You can deal with a lot of these things by reading a lot of papers, or a lot of related books to your particular topic and all that. Again, it takes for many of us, it takes years and years to develop this entire uh, expertise into that particular area. In fact, writing the first paper is one of the most difficult tasks that many of us has faced in our life. But this is where the guides are supposed to help us. This is where the supervisors are supposed to guide us to somewhat make the process a little more easier. Anyhow, at the end of the day, our research, and it is your research, and it is the scholar's research, or it is the author's research, and he has to do it. But at the same time, if you are an early career researcher, or if you are someone who is just starting your research journey, that guidance from your guide, or that guidance from a senior partner can be valuable, because it can save a lot of uh, desperation, it can save a lot of disappointment. Okay, it can save a lot of time, and it can save a lot of effort. So in this way, that particular guidance is necessary. At the same time, there are a lot of other soft skills that are included. I say the term soft skill in a very loose term, but what I mean by soft skills is that it's not like you just write the paper and you submit it to a journal, and that's the end of your research. It's not like that, right? Because writing in fact, I would say that writing the paper and completing the paper, or having the paper ready after doing the research, is only like 50% of the work. The next 50% of the work is selecting an appropriate journal, because you want that your research should be read by people. Okay, you want that your research should be read by people, and other people should cite your work, right? Other people should get motivated from your work, other people should build on your work. Okay, so for that, what is necessary? For that, it is necessary that you select a proper journal. At the same time, you want that the research that you have done, or the publication that you are going to have, it should help you in your career. The career may be in the career, in the sense that if you are working towards a PhD, it should count towards a PhD. Or if you in future you want to go for a academic backed role, so that particular publication should be uh, carrying some weightage in your role that you are applying, or for the position that you are applying. And that is only possible when you select appropriate journals with appropriate kind of prestige in the scientific community. And that, for a early career researcher, is very difficult to understand. Okay, and with all these kind of fake journals that are all around us, and all kind of the fake publicity that you see all around you, all the spams and all the emails that comes to your all of us are bombarded with these fake emails, right? Where they ask us to publish in their journals and all that. So it becomes very difficult for an early career researcher, or an inexperienced person, uh, or a scholar who has just started his research journey, to identify that which journal is good, which journal is bad, uh, which is a genuine journal, and which are just some copy of the genuine journals and all that. So in this also, you need a lot of you need the experience of your guide, or your supervisor, or your senior partner. Or there may be additional terms, like once you submit to a quality journal, there is a lot of other works involved. For example, you need to submit a cover letter along with your research paper. So again, writing the cover letter is also an art. So in this also you need the guidance of your senior partner. Again, when the review comes in, how to address the review and what are the points that you should mention, and how you should like communicate the idea that you have done. All these things need a lot of guidance. And frankly, from my own personal experience, and I hope that many of you will agree with me, is that many of us do not find the proper guidance from our guides or from the supervisor that is there in our research in terms of if you are a PG student or if you're a PhD student. Maybe your supervisor has not been able to give you the time, or maybe he doesn't have the he or she doesn't have the necessary expertise in the area. It may be because of two things. Obviously, he may have a lot of scholars, or he may be again, we academicians are loaded with a uh, lot of administrative work as well as academic work and research work. So he may not find suitable time to give you. So this is where the research internship program of RSRI comes in. So like the research internship program at RSRI is very unique in the sense that it is a one-stop solution for all your these problems. Here, what we do is that once you induct yourself into the research internship program, depending on which kind of program and what are the expectations of the your uh, you have from the program, we allot you a guide. We allot you a guide or a full-time guide, and you can then work along with this guide. Many of the time, what happens is that this guide would be an expert in your area. He will micro guide you, or he will micromanage you in the sense that he will tell you exactly how to proceed, which literature to read, and what kind of literature to read, how best to frame the paper, how best to frame the questionnaire, how best to address a particular question and all that, and which journal to target and how to target that, how to write a cover letter. All these tasks in all the phases, the research guide that the RSRI or the RSRI's research uh, mentor will help you. We call him as the mentor in the RSRI research internship program. So the RSRI research mentor will help you in all these stages. Okay. And the RSRI is unique in the sense that this particular program of the RSRI is very unique in the sense that when you join, we initially ask you a lot of questions regarding your problem. We ask you to fill some kind of a questionnaire, and once you give the data to us, depending on the data that we have, we can data as in like we ask you the basic questions like from which field you are, and what is your expectation, like how much time you have already invested into the topic and all that. So based on that, we make an assessment of how much work is needed uh, for finishing the entire project and all that. And depending on that, we assure that we can help you publish in reputed journals. Generally, the lowest journal that we target is the Scopus level, and most of the papers we generally try to publish in the SCI journals, right? So this research internship is unique in that way because it is the only program that I know of that guarantees you that once you are in this program, we will make you an expert, and at the same time, we in that particular area will make you an expert in that particular area, and at the same time, we guarantee you that we'll get your paper published in will have you will have a quality paper that will be easily published in a Scopus journal or maybe a SCI journal, right? And again, other initiatives of the RSRI involve like book chapters and the journal article publications that we do, and all of these are generally free of cost. We generally do not charge any money for book chapter publication, or in fact, book publication are also there. And all this book publication and the book chapter publication, all this comes with ISSN, ISBN numbers, and all the journal articles that we publish with the RSRI comes with DOI. Okay, as you know, DOI is very important in the current scenario because DOI guarantees that your article will be uh, your article will be trackable at any point of time, and it will be available to the people at any point of time. So again, the best thing about all this is that all these are free of cost. Anyone can just submit a paper in the for book chapter or for journal article with the RSRI, and it will get published with the DOI and ISBN and all of that. And of course, the kind of the certification program that we are attending right now, we conduct a lot of this kind of certification program. We conduct programs ranging from in past we have helped a lot of research scholars in terms of SPSS, in terms of teaching them SPSS, in terms of teaching them data analysis in Excel. We have taught them how to design questionnaires. We have taught a lot of people. Recently, we conducted two different workshops, one on R programming, the second one on Python. So all overall, we run a lot of certification programs and FDP and STDPs, and all of them at very minimal kind of cost. And by this, we want to develop some kind of a research acumen, at the same time the research expertise or the research soft skills that is needed to carry out your research. Again, the data analysis and all that is not your actual research, right? That is, but that is as important as your actual research, because your actual research, you may be someone who is from banking, who is working on a problem on related to banking, or you may be someone who is working on suppose say a machine learning problem, or you may be someone who is from the mechanical background, you are working on perhaps working on uh, uh, engine efficiency and all that. So all of these are your core problems, but when you report all these core problems, or when you do all these core problems, you need a lot of allied stuff. And all these allied stuff are like how to present the data that you have, like what kind of statistical analysis do I do, and what kind of programs do I run, do I need to do any kind of optimization and all that. And so all this allied kind of stuff that is very interdisciplinary, and that is something that can be easily transferred from one research to another. This is something that we do with these FDPs and these STDPs. Okay, for example, the data analysis that I told you and all that. Again, we have a very low profile, and low profile in the sense that we do not do it independently. We have tied up with a lot of additional platforms or additional agencies which we can vouch for, and they generally and you can generally get involved with us if you want some kind of feedback regarding plagiarism, how to avoid plagiarism, or if you have written some work and knowingly or unknowingly you have ended up with a plagiarized kind of report. So we can help you remove those plagiarism. And of course, in the Indian context, our English is not at par with some of the Western uh, journals that they demand, and sometimes generally you may need English editing and all that. So this is also something that the RSRI provides for its members. And again, you can avail the membership of the RSRI, and based on that you can avail all this kind of uh, on this kind of additional supports. Again, this is something that we do not do independently. This is something that we do with our partners. Okay, and of course, when you are selecting a particular editing agency, or when you are selecting, because there are numerous kind of editing agencies and all that. So if you are again a very new researcher, or if you are very new to the scientific program or to the research environment, you will not know exactly which one to choose. Because I'll just give you an idea. I know someone from my PhD days. He was having this kind of an issue with his English, and he wanted his thesis to be edited. So he gave it to a particular agency, and that agency didn't have the proper expertise in his particular area. So he was doing something when he was in the engineering, and of course there was this word frequency that was multiple times occurring in his thesis. And this whenever this word frequency was there in his thesis, the person who was editing changed it to oscillation. Of course, if you go by the synonyms, generally oscillation may be thought of a synonym for the frequency, but in the actual scientific concept, or in the actual scientific terminology of that particular word, if you just go on replacing all the words wherever you get the word frequency by the word oscillation, you may end up having a nonsense kind of stuff, right? Because it will not make any sense. Because you cannot just replace frequency. If I say that frequency separation, instead of that you cannot say oscillation separation. It would not make any meaning, right? So for this, you need to select someone who has the English expertise as well as the technical expertise, because that is equally important. Unless the person who is editing, he doesn't know the technicality of the work that he is doing, it will be a disaster, right? So I think that I have taken a lot of time in explaining the initiatives of the RSRI and introducing the importance of the research and all that. I'm sorry if it was like too long and too lengthy, but I thought that this is kind of the uh, first kind of session where I can share all the initiatives that we are doing, because a lot of people have already been benefited by this, and I just wanted to spread the word. If you think we are doing a good work, you may also associate with us. Again, we are also inviting people to join our research internship program in the role of the mentor also. If you are a very, very experienced researcher, generally we have a very strict criteria of the research mentor. If you are someone who has more than 25 SCIs or more than 50 scopus, you may apply for the research mentor program also. So here you can associate with the RSRI as a mentor for the incoming interns or the incoming research interns. So with this, I will close this session, and from the next section, we'll start with our discussion on how to do research. Thank you.